Good Sunday morning, everyone. Giving you a live look as the sun is coming up. We've got this beautiful, pleasant morning right now. Great chance to get out, get some fresh air before we heat right on back up like we have been every day for what feels like forever at this point. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anusha Roy. We want to head over to Kilyn, who is hanging out with us this weekend as well. She's got details about wind that you're going to have to keep an eye on when it comes to your Labor Day weekend plans. And Kilyn, we are going to be warming right back up, but if you wait a couple of days, it might actually cool down. Might even feel, dare I say, like September.
Absolutely. As we head into the middle part of the week, temperatures are going to cool down. Just open the window, walk outdoors this morning, and you'll get a nice cool off. Temperatures in the 50s out there across the plains. But yeah, I tell you what, we're in store for a gorgeous day. Lots of sunshine, temperatures warming to the upper 80s. So currently out there, we're at 61 degrees out at DIA, but across the plains, temperatures really in the 50s. We're at 47 degrees in Lyman right now, 58 in Fort Collins. Temperatures up in the high country in the 30s and 40s. So a nice cool start to your Sunday before temperatures really start to warm up as we head into the afternoon. We're looking at a high of 88 degrees, going to be breezy as well. Those winds out of the southeast up to 25 miles per hour as we head into the afternoon. They're going to kick up even more as we head into the evening and overnight hours. Forecast highs today, we're looking mainly in the 80s to right around 90 across the plains, 70s to right around 80 up there in the high country. Quiet on our radar. Futurecast tracking just a little bit of mid-level moisture firing up into some showers, isolated thunderstorms up in the high country, mainly west of the divide. And then your weather headlights dry this weekend, warm and windy, increased fire danger for tomorrow. And we'll talk about that coming up with your Labor Day forecast in your full forecast in just a bit.
All right, we will pay close attention. Thank you, Kilyn. A 7-Eleven turned into a crime scene last night. One person was killed in a shooting on Colfax and Peoria in Aurora. 9 News reporter Brianna Clark is joining us now. And Brianna, we've been trying to track down as many details as possible. Pretty limited, though, at this point.
Yeah, that's right. But we spoke to someone close to the situation who's helping paint a better picture for us. This is what the scene looked like when our crews arrived last night. Julie Ellis said her roommate, Will, was working at this 7-Eleven and he witnessed the deadly shooting. He told her a man was in the parking lot waving around a gun, threatening to hurt people. We are still working to get that information confirmed by police. Julie said her roommate then called 911 after a security guard got involved.
The security guard had no other choice to fire back because the guy in the parking lot was waving a gun and threatening to shoot in the parking lot. Did not enter inside the building. The security guard did his job.
That man was taken to the hospital where police say he died. We do know Aurora is investigating this as a homicide, but keep in mind that's just a word that they use for these types of situations. That label could change as the investigation continues. And Anusha, we've got a call out to Aurora Police, hoping to have an update for you as this morning goes on.
All right, thanks so much for updating us on what we do know so far. Thank you, Brianna. The family of an unarmed man shot and killed by Aurora police is now reminding the community it has been 100 days without answers about his death. They gathered at the state capitol this weekend to demand those answers. Kilyn Lewis was unarmed and holding a cell phone when he was shot and killed by an Aurora police officer in May. Police say they were trying to arrest him in connection to an attempted homicide. His family is upset with the edited body camera video that was released by police. They want to see the officer who shot Lewis be fired and charged.
It took 8 seconds and his last words were, "I ain't got nothing." We demand that the Aurora City Council, the Aurora City Manager, and those in Aurora hold their officers accountable.
City council members say they have no power to bring charges to the officer who shot Lewis, but that the investigation is ongoing. Supporters of Colorado Republican Chairman Dave Williams held a vote Saturday to keep him in power. But last week, a rival faction of Colorado Republicans held their own meeting and voted him out. The Republican National Committee will likely have to settle this for the Colorado GOP. Security guards kept journalists away from watching that meeting and the vote, including one of our reporters. Inside a church in Castle Rock, Williams made his pitch to remain in charge of the party. The GOP is divided by his attacks on fellow Republicans. In a inability to raise money, and bigoted attacks on the LGBTQ community. The faction of the Colorado Republican Party that claims it is still controls the state party says Williams overwhelmingly won the vote to stay in power. But last weekend, a different faction of party leaders held a vote to replace him with former El Paso County GOP Chair Eli Bremer in a vote that Williams is claiming was illegal. Bremer says the vote that was planned this weekend was illegal. National Republican leaders will probably be asked to settle that dispute that has been paralyzing the Colorado GOP in the heart of campaign season. Former President Donald Trump's legal team is arguing his civil fraud case should be thrown out because the case was flawed. This is a case brought by the New York Attorney General that resulted in a nearly $500 million fine against the former president. The attorneys argued there was no evidence of intent to defraud and there were no victims. The New York Attorney General maintains there is overwhelming evidence that Trump had lied for years about his wealth. An appellate court judge will be hearing the arguments on September 26th. Rocky Mountain Crisis Services has switched to an out-of-state company. At midnight, it took the last 988 calls before that switch. The new company is called Solari, based in Arizona. The switch is coming from a state decision that should save the state around $4 million. They say they picked this company because it received the highest score in the evaluation process. It does mean, however, 988 calls and crisis services will continue to be answered. Concerns are growing about the spread of West Nile virus across the country. Health officials say at least 3 deaths related to the virus have been reported so far. Those deaths were reported in Wisconsin and Illinois. Since we're still in the middle of mosquito season, more people are expected to get this. Right now, the CDC is reporting 289 human West Nile cases this year alone. There are also concerns about another mosquito-borne illness, Eastern equine encephalitis. There are at least 2 of those cases in Massachusetts. To avoid either of these viruses, you do need to practice what we are always told: to use bug spray and wear long sleeves and pants when you can.
If you're not into bug spray with the chemicals, there are some traditional options like oil of lemon and eucalyptus that are natural alternatives you can use.
Here in Colorado, the state health department's website shows that there have been 30 West Nile cases across the state this year. 12 have required hospitalization.